Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. We are back on the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruen case that we just saw come down from the Supreme Court last week. Prior to that happening, we had Chuck Michel on to talk about some of the things we expected from this case, and oh boy, are they coming true. So we've brought him back today. Again, senior partner at Michel and Associates, the big brains behind these large lawsuits in California. Chuck, thank you for taking the time again today.
Always a pleasure.
I just wanted to go through a couple of these things now that we're looking on the back end of this and particularly pointing to the action that's going to take place from it. So we got that decision. We continue to analyze it. How does this end up translating to getting gun laws in California off the books? What does that look like for us moving forward? I know that we got a lot of laws on the books that need to get taken off. How do you make sense of that?
Yeah, well, the book that I wrote that CRPA sells on California gun laws, that's 600 pages long. So there's a lot of things that can be challenged now, because what the Bruen decision did, not just strike down New York's requirement that you have to establish some kind of a special need in order to get a license to carry a concealed firearm in public. It struck that down, but it also set a new test for evaluating the constitutionality of a gun control law. Before, I was talking about standards of review, strict scrutiny, intermediate scrutiny, rational basis.
Right.
Now they've gotten rid of all that. There really aren't any standards of review anymore. There's just one test, and that is you look at the history of the gun laws at the time of the Second Amendment being passed or the 14th Amendment being passed, and you see what kind of laws would have been tolerated at that time. And if there's not something analogous, historically analogous to a gun law that's on the books currently that CRPA has challenged or will be challenging, that's the end of the test. That law is not constitutional because it's not something that the drafters of the Second Amendment would have tolerated. And that's a lot of California's laws. So we're already queuing up. We're on one hand, we're fighting the efforts that the Attorney General is making and that the legislature will make to limit the ability to get a CCW, even though they're not going to be able to use good cause as their reason anymore. But we're also looking at other laws in California, the roster, San Jose's gun tax. I think the Sacramento is going to pass a similar gun tax. CRPA already has cases challenging the black rifle ban, California's so-called assault weapon law, the ammo background check and ban on interstate sales of ammunition ban. We have a case against LA County over their refusal to give out concealed carry permits. And we have Duncan, which is in the Supreme Court, which challenges the ban on possession of magazines that can hold over 10 rounds. All of those are already in play. They've been filed there in the Ninth Circuit. There will probably need to be supplemental briefing, additional legal briefs filed now that the Supreme Court has ruled and kind of changed the game. And then we're just looking at anything that comes in. We've had to respond so quickly to a lot of the stuff that's been happening since Bruen, because the Attorney General and Newsom they're all trying to do whatever they can to frustrate that ruling. But so we've had our hands full.
Right, and it has been kind of interesting. I just saw an interview that Gavin Newsom did complaining about how these decisions are now going to come down to a history lesson to quickly be followed by a false history lesson. So we're going to continue and keep a watch. But basically what it sounds like you're saying is that all of these lawsuits are applicable. At the end of the day, this is the precedent that's been set, and it's going to be pushed for to be applied to all of these lawsuits. And I think those are a couple of big ones, right? The handgun roster is a huge one. So is the ammunition, and so is the magazine. So we're really looking forward to that. Be sure to stay tuned for more of these clips coming out through the week on our interview with Chuck Michel, just so that we can be extremely clear on how the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruen case actually breaks down.